The Nike Alphafly 3 was a hugely popular shoe in 2024, but for me, never made it as a successful racing shoe. Having spent £285 on this shoe, I decided I didn't want it to sit on the shelf collecting dust, so I decided to take it out for a long run workout to see if it can become my new long run shoe. Ever since my Adidas Adios Pro 3 got retired at 500 miles from workouts and long runs, I've been searching for a suitable replacement. Could this be the one? Another Saturday, another long run. This time it's the turn of the Alphafly 3. Now if you've been watching the training series, you'll know that I've been struggling to replace my Adidas Pro 3 shoe, and I've got a few super shoes in the rotation that I'm just never going to use for racing, and I'm thinking I might as well, I've paid all the money for them, I might as well use them in training, and this is one of them. So I thought today I could take this one out for the last big long run that I'm going to have during this training block, because next week I've got the Linda Franks 5-mile race, the week after I've got the Boddington 10, and the week after that is going to be taper week for Alicante half marathon. So what does the long run involve today? Well, we're going to be throwing a little bit of tempo in there just like I did last week, and it's going to be a simple case of an easy 30 to 35 minutes moderate warm up into the run, and then I'm going to lock into 6 by 5 minutes. Now these 5 minutes are going to be slower than my goal half marathon pace. This week I've hit faster than pace, I've hit goal pace, and today I just want to hit slower than pace. So I'm just trying to cover all the bases this week, and this is the last big intense week. I'm going to take 90 seconds in between each of those 5 minutes, and then after that I'll do another easy 35, maybe 40 minutes. We'll see where it takes us. I quite fancy getting up to 2 hours today, but I really am going to play it by ear because it's quite icy out here today. It is the last really cold day, so I'm just going to leave the warm-ups open so that I can make a decision where I get to out on the roads and trails as to where I hit. I will take a little bit of fuel with me today. The Victus gels is what I've been testing out in training. I'm not actually training for a marathon, but I have promised myself that I will not do another marathon until I sort my fueling out, as in basically stop using Morton and find something else that I can get on board with more calories, and this has been really successful, so I'm just pressing on with this. And again, this will be the last chance I get to test this over a longer period of time, for a few weeks really, until the half marathon is done. And as for the Alphaflys, as I mentioned in the start, I don't think I'm ever going to race in these again. I've just got the Puma Deviate Nitro Elite 3s in and absolutely loving them and can't wait to race in those. I have given them a race effort and they were okay, but I've just kind of never really clicked with them to the point where I thought, yes, these are the ones that I want in training. They're a really good shoe, much better than the previous version, but for me I've just got better shoes in for racing, so I've paid £285 for this. I might as well get my money's worth. Let's get out there and get this long run done. And I know I've said this before, but I'll just reiterate it before we get into this. I just find the Alphafly 3 a little bit too much shoe, you know? It's very big and bulky for a size 13. There's just a lot going on down there. And yeah, I just feel like when I'm racing I need stuff to disappear on my feet so I can really think about breathing, racing, tactics, all of that stuff. The Pumas that have just come in really tick that box. I'm excited to give them a race next weekend, but I mean, so far these things they're really good. As you could expect, they're making things feel so much easier, and for £285 I'm not surprised, and I should hope so too. It's a shame that I don't quite get on with them enough to... Oh, hold on a minute, is that a boar? Oh, fox. Oh, boar. Hello, boar. 1, 2. Mummy's in there somewhere. Yeah, it's a shame I don't get on with them and they're a bit too much shoe, but it is what it is. I'm not going to waste them, I'm not going to let them sit up on the shelf. Yeah, we'll get on with this. Hold on, very quickly, look at all this mess that the boar have made. You can see they've been busy last night. So that's enough about the shoes. As for me, just before we get into this, it is freezing, it is beautiful, and I am flying down this hill in these shoes. Feeling surprisingly good today. So I am fueling, as I mentioned in the intro. I'll have a gel at half an hour. We will lock in at 35 minutes and get these tempo reps started. A goal, I think I mentioned earlier, slower than half marathon effort. And out here on the buffed out trails, there'll be some in the 540s, some in the 550s, some in the 6s, because we're going out and back. So some will be down, some will be up, some will be all over the shop. So yeah, feeling all right. Looking forward to getting into this one. "35 minutes, 6:36 per mile average for that 5 and a bit miles to run into the tempos." There we go, 5:54 for that first one. Very relaxed, very enjoyable, exactly where I want it to be. So we're going to go for the first 2.5. First two we'll go straight down, and then halfway through the third we'll spin and come back up, so we get an equal 2.5 each way, because this is now straight downhill. There we go, another 5:54, just cruising. So I'm going to go down here, turn up the hill, spin it 2.5 minutes, come back down the hill, back up here, and then we'll do the other two up there. So I expect those to be well into the 6s. I've found my groove today. I'm happy with how I feel. It's exactly where I want to be. I don't need to push anymore. It's going well. Number 3 was 5:53, happy with that. I seem to play a little game then of, oh, let's see if we can match what you did downhill going up and down. It was all right, it was fine. We'll spin here and we'll go back this way, and these two are straight uphill. There we go, 6:02 per mile. Very happy with that one. Really happy. One more, and this is going to be the most uphill, but this has been a good one. So there we go, 6:07 for that last one, with the toughest little bit in there. That has gone really well, really well. And if I zoom out a bit and look at the week, I've got some really good sessions done. I'm looking forward now to easing off the intensity. We've got a mini, let's call it a micro block done, like 3 weeks worth of quite intense work, and this week I can back off a bit, ready for the race. What an absolute peanut. I've just realised that I set my watch up for 6 by 5 minutes, so when it beeped for the 6th one, I didn't even look at the watch. I thought it said open, and that was my start of my cool down. I don't know what possessed me to think I had 5, because I knew I set up 6. So I've just run a very slow 6 tempo rep. And what about the shoes? How have they done? Well, we are 14.2 miles into this. It'll be about 16 miles, and they've done really well, as you'd expect. But as per every other time I've run in them, the longer the run goes on, the more you're aware in the shoe, and as fatigue sets in, you're kind of, I'm just thinking about these boats on my feet, and yeah, it just reinforces why I don't want to race in them. But for the long run today, wow, they've been a treat. Nice and comfy, babied the legs a bit, and they've been a bit special going up and down the hills. That's where the AirPods come in, I think. You get a bit of extra bounce going down and up, which is nice. But overall, yeah, solid outing for them as per usual, but definitely not going to be my race shoe. So I said it at the start of the run, and I said it during the run, and I'll say it again now. I just kind of feel like there's so much shoe. In a UK size 13, I think that just exacerbates the issue, to be honest with you. They're such a big and clumpy moon boot. And don't get me wrong, I much prefer this version to version 2. This is a big improvement, and they still performed really well. Like, my legs feel so good after that run. And so don't get me wrong, I probably will drop them in every now and again. But what I find is quite the opposite to what a lot of people find, which is they get worse as the run goes on. And what I mean by that is basically I don't have strong hips. It's me, not the shoe, in that aspect. So what I find happens is I start off running very efficiently, hips forward, feeling really good. But as a run progresses and I fatigue, my hips aren't the strongest, and so I do sag a little bit in the middle. And so I do start to sit down in my hips a bit more, and I'm not quite as straight up as I'd like to be. And what I find then instantly is I've become a lot less efficient in the shoe. And so I made a point yesterday in the last 2 miles of that run to really push my hips forward as I was coming back down the industrial estate here to finish off home. And suddenly I just felt like the shoe was really, really efficient again. And so I do really strongly feel like if you are a strong runner with a strong core and can really hold yourself upright and have a really good midfoot to forefoot form, these are definitely the shoes that are going to be the best for you. I can see exactly why you get so much out of them. But for me, with imperfections in my form and not the strongest hips, they just don't work in the long run. As for the run itself though, and as for me, very happy with how it went. As I said, they do a great job in looking after the legs. I feel really good, and the run went really well. As I said, this week I've done over-unders, I've done goal pace, and I've now done this one. It's just been a really brilliant week. So this week coming up, I'm definitely going to be taking a bit of a back seat in terms of volume and stuff. Not necessarily having a down week, but just easing off a bit because I want to feel good and fresh for Linda Frank's race on the weekend. So there we go, that's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, and of course subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and I'll see you on the next one.